record the presentation, and we can start with the first group, Carlos, Ishel, and Leah. So please, when you're ready, you can start to sharing the screen and make the presentation.
¿Pueden verlo? You can see the presentation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Good afternoon. We're Team 1 and we're going to present our project, Radishes. So the project is situated in the city located in the state of Chihuahua, which is the capital city of the state. And it's the second most populated city. The zone that we're working on, it's next to the Rio Sacramento, which comes from Majalca. This is spread vertically, and it's running parallel to the road next to the Paso del Norte. Paso del Norte is the sector we're analyzing, where the community center is going to be located. The city of Chihuahua has main temperatures of 31 centimeters, the highest centigrade, and 18 the lowest. The prevailing winds are 17 kilometers per hour, and they come from north-southwest. And the topography, it's irregular. It's situated on a valley next to Cuencas de Sacramento. And well, the most important of the typography is that the sector is located in irregular topography, which is in a decline zone. It has approximately 30 meters from the lowest point to the highest point, which is where the road next to the Rio Sacramento breaks the city into the mountain sector. Well, this is the context analysis. As I said, Paso del Norte is located on the boundaries of the city limits, which are marked by this Rio Sacramento. It's not so accessible. It has one urban bridge and one main road, which is the Calle Nube. It's perpendicular to Vialidad Sacramento. And then once you get to the sector, you have three main roads, which is Calle Jose Fierro, Calle Emanuele Giorgi, and which becomes Calle Nube. We have one main baseball field. We have like many or little, like few grocery stores. They're mostly not formal. We have like 3 schools, 1 elementary, but the rest of the city and urban equipment is on the other side of the river. Here we have the main vegetation, which is the yucca, the mesquite, the cactus de Ocotillo, and the gobernadora. And these are all like all over the place and different areas and not delimited by something, or like there's not green areas delimited in the sector. We don't have many public spaces, and the ones that we have, it's the baseball field, and it's not very well maintained. There we have in the northern part, where the community center is going to be located. Well, the social composition, we have about 380 people living in the analysis area, which is bigger than the one that I stated before, because it's not formally like delimited by the government, because it has been growing, not inside the boundaries where there are registered census. The average age of the people living, it's 26 years. The average schooling years are 11. And the main activities in the sector is commerce. There are about 240 establishments on the sector. The main work area is industry, Ciudad, Chihuahua. It's mostly maquiladora workforce. And one of the things that we found in the social composition is that we could define the sector as in a state of marginality, which means it's basically excluded from the formal real estate labor markets. So the houses that are in there are not regulated by the formal real estate. And the activities also in there are not regulated by the state. And this is mostly because the terrain is not non-urbanable, urbanizable, and it difficults the possibility to be an economic main center. The main social issues is there's no urban planning. It has a very inefficient use of land. There is absence of public spaces and lack of community engagement because there is not like meeting points. People do not tend to engage between each other. So there's not like a community and a sense of integration. There's poor environmental awareness and resource management. People tend to throw trash, litter, not taking care of public spaces. They do not have consideration for private property, so they throw trash into other non-trashable, like intended spaces, and unsupervised kids. So mainly the people living in there have works that have extensive hours, and the kids that live with them tend to be alone. So there's very or poor security relate to the kids in the streets or recreational zones. So our social intervention references is that mostly the projects that work with communities like this tend to integrate the community so they can create spaces where people are safe. So if you put places that are livable and enjoyable, people tend to correlate and intercommunicate with each other, and they create spaces that are worth living in. And this project in a native community in Peru, what basically did was to make this roof, it's not something else than a roof, where people could be with each other and like have integration times, and that made more a sense of more coherence with the space. And then the sustainability, we have this other project, it's a village supermarket, which is centered by a tool for empowerment. What they did was to make these cells so the community could sell their products. And the last one was this project, which is a shell that they built by themselves.
Our idea development, our conceptual process is that our design proposal aims at integrating the community with the environment. We wanted to create a feeling of belonging to the place, and the community accepts it and cares for it. In less words, that they identify with our project. The concept was born from the roots of a tree. Each root keeps on joining with other roots and creates the trunk. And in this case, in our project, our roots are these ones, like the kids' playgrounds, the basic service areas, sustainability workshops, food and health attendance, natural areas, and sports and physical activation. Radices is our project's name. Its meaning is that In a figurative sense, the root or roots are spoken of as the idiosyncratic origin of an individual or a community. Our concept words for our project are peaceful cohabitation, security, simplicity, green areas, harmony, open, friendly, natural, and colors. Then we started designing by analyzing our terrain, our site, and what the community needed. Then we move on to the exploration phase, where we experiment with the vegetation and the materials that the community feels comfortable with and identified. Finally, we move on to our design, our design, yeah. And what is the key of our project? We tell you that is simplicity. We created 3 volumes that connect at a central point. The volumes were adapted to the terrain and assigned different uses. Here we can see the green volume. There are the classrooms where kids could be learning, and here we have the workshops, the dance room, the music room, the computer room. Is like the learning building. Then in yellow we have the esplanade. Here is where all the activities are going to happen, like where the community can go and meet and socialize and be a community. And in purple we have the marketplace. Here is the kitchen, the food areas, and the resting areas. Our initial volumetric proposal was we focus on different concepts, like the integration of the natural landmark, the city views, and the natural lighting. The project gets natural light. Here we can see like an idea of what are the views to the city and our project.
We designed Radices for be an open space, a project that has relation with the environment and our green areas. Radices is composed by 2 buildings and 1 esplanade. One is the marketplace, the other one is our educational building, and the events area, which corresponds to the esplanade. Next one, please. The first building is the marketplace, where you can find an open like entrance hall that makes you feel welcome because of the space. We located restrooms at the end of the first level too, and you have the entrance halls to this building, but also you have the access and the right to all the project. Next one. In the second level, we find the workshops designed to be a creative space where the community can soil, use paint or cook. This is why it's in a spacious area. And in the middle, we have sinks and complements like storage at the end of this floor. We also have a climbing wall at the side of our project. And the third level, we can see that the last level of the marketplace where the community can sell or show what they made in the workshop. Therefore, it's an open area too. The third level is the most important level of Radices. Why? Well, as the union of all the project is where everything happens. In this level, we have the access to our 3 main areas. We can see the first level of the educational building, an open space that invites people to relax, and also the esplanade. They are especially thought for events, an open and spacious area that everyone in the community is allowed to use. In the fourth level, we can find the restrooms and a lending library of the educational building. And the fifth level, we find the last floor of the educational building. That is the most important level of this building because of the classrooms designed to be a concentration space. In this level, we also have the main access from the Manuel Aguilar Street. That is the principal street of the community. Here we have the detailed plans of the three main areas. This one is of the marketplace. The next one, the next one is of the educational building, the 3 levels. And the last one is the esplanade. Next, please. In this section, we have information of the marketplace and the educational building. As you can see, there are some similitudes on the design of the levels. They both have a terrace, which is an important feeder of radices. And here we can see the level that connects both. That is the 3rd level. Section B. In this section, we see more clear the esplanade and the heights compared to our educational building. As you can see, we have the front of the educational building and or esplanade where the events are going through. Next one. Finally, this is the accessibility of radices. We have in purple the circulation, in green the local access, in blue wheelchair ramps, and in orange the main meeting point. Although as a rough terrain, we solve the accessibility of the project. Here is the esplanade. And the educational building and the marketplace. And we have the front view of our project.
And last, our sustainable approach. Well, we based our project in the sustainability of circular commerce. So where you can grow your own fruits or vegetables in the urban market and the urban growth, and then you can sell it at the market. And we implemented solar panels and a greenhouse. All the plants are all the plants that we want to like implement are endemic and useful to the community. We have sloping roofs, shading, and windows facing south, as a lot of green areas as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You spoke too much because we are at 18 minutes, but okay.
I'm sorry, it's the nerves of being the first one.
Agustin, Giorgio, do you have any question for this group, or we can go to the second group?
Just very quick. I think if I'm not wrong, all the projects are in the same site or different sites?
All in the same site.
All in the same site.
Community.
Okay. So all the introduction of the natural, like the sun and wind and all these kind of things, maybe we can be very quick or go fast in the next presentation, no? Because we don't need to hear it again 6 times, no?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Perfect. So we can go to the second group, or any? Okay.
Just a suggestion, because I try to work better with the cover of the building, with the landscape and the city. So not this floor, but maybe you can work with another type of this cover. Of the roof. Understand?
Do you want to reply?
So just a suggestion about the cover of the building. Maybe I work with, better with the shape of this roof. Maybe to give more connection about the building and the landscape, the building and the city, the building or the public space.
Yes.
Because it's not simple. Simple shape of the roof could be work better with this this type of your project.
So you mean could be better that the roof, you can use the roof like extending the public space, that you can access to these roofs instead of having the pitch roof typology.
Not simple roof, but maybe they can work with another shape or a shape that connect, be met better the landscape, the building, and the public space. Just suggested.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
In
Giorgio.
general, I find it interesting, very interesting. First, the clarity of the 3 volumes, that one is very specific function. And all these 3 functions are oriented to improve the life of the neighbors, to offer something that is missing there, educational facilities, public space, and also this market and circular idea of growing your own food and selling your food, etc. I think it's an interesting. It's this kind of projects that are like trying to solve a social problem, which is very difficult to solve these social problems with architecture, but at least with these initiatives, it can be more easy to support the community and help the community. So I find it clear somehow. The images that you show, they looks nice. I mean, very open space, only is closed when it's needed. I agree with Giorgio that maybe the roof can be an extension of the public space, which would be great because of the views. So you maximize this experience of the views and the topography by having access to the roof. And another thing that I didn't see is like if it's a building that is somehow didactical, or is trying to improve the education of the young generations in that neighborhood, all this water harvesting concept is not there. I mean, maybe with the roof that as you suggested, is missing like what you do with all the rainwater there, because this is a problem, a clear problem. But having a strategy and system that you can storage and reuse all this water could be great also for the concept of the design. I mean, and also it's a very didactical idea, showing the young generations how you can maximize the use of water by harvesting them. But it's another suggestion, yeah. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So we can go with the second group.
Yes.
Right? Very good. Alejandro, Eaad, y Mariana. Please, 10 minutes.
Well, hi, we're team number 2, and we are going to present you our Paso del Norte Community Center project. Our slogan is take the opportunity to help the community. And the next, please. I would like to start by understanding what the community center is. And well, these are public locations where members of a community tend to gather together for group activities, social support, public information, and other purposes. Well, as you know, this is situated in the biggest state of the Mexican country, that is Chihuahua City, in Paso del Norte, with the size of 4,000 square meters. We investigate about some of the site issues, and there's, well, there are many of them. This place is isolated from the city. There's no access to schools, a lot of unsafety. There's no urban planning, a lot of, there's a lack of community engagement, no enjoyable open areas, and contamination. Well, as you can see in this community, there is a big social inequality due to an economic and social gap, among many other problems. And that's why our main goal, or one of our main purposes that we want to achieve, is to provide an area where people can improve their lifestyles. And the community center will help by reducing those insecure places, providing a familiar and an integrated environment. Some of our proposed areas are a library, a terrace, an orchard, a cafeteria, a sport court, green areas, a playground for the kids, resting areas, computer center, and multi-purpose rooms. Our design objective is to build a place that can be sustainable, feasible, adaptable, accessible, durable, and functional all at the same time. And how to? Well, we will provide sensory architecture, providing fountains to hear, material, colors, and textures to see, the use of aromatic plants to smell, and the use of texture and the green areas to touch.
Next, we're going to show you some analogous cases. First, we have the Bannock in India, which is an experience center that has a relationship between the building and outdoor areas. It is a meeting space, presentation areas, and discussion zone, but also a connection to green areas. Then we have the Terra Blanca in Spain, which is an aromatic park. It has a great exterior design, which has placed beds of aromatic plants. Another is the community center of Hong Kong. It is a land area which is a new building outlined with the existing wavy topography. And last but not least, the Red Bull Music Academy in Spain. It is a movable and deployable space designed to be dismantled without leaving a trace. Next, we're gonna talk about permaculture. It is a practical method of creating sustainable ways of living. It is a conscious design and maintenance of agriculturally productive ecosystems. So in this community, we have to accomplish the next specifications, which they are low maintenance, full sun exposure, and low and occasional watering. For plants, we have the lumber sun type, which they are the lavender, blue fortune, yester, Victoria lilac, and Veronica. For low watering plants, we have the Chorospis, Crosmia, brimstone, sunrose, and sandling. Marlot, orange rocket, mutch, and caddis coral. Some of the grass-like plants sorry. Some of the grass-like plants are the Japanese silver grass, the moor grass, orange seed, reed grass, in New Zealand, here sedge. For succulents, we have the blue yucca, stone crab, bright edge yucca, and agave. And for shrub, we have the Italian cypress, Sutherland heath, Kaleidoscopibilia, Italian buckram, and frost juniper. Referring to trees, we have the crepe and purple smokebush. For agriculture, we have the pepper, tomato, carrot, lettuce, and some others. And for productive trees, we have considered the lime, orange, and peach tree.
In here, we can see a solar analysis, knowing that the best orientation is the south, as well as the warm winds that come from the southwest and the cold winds from the north. Next. Then we move to the first concept diagram. As already explained, a key point for us is the planting area and all the green areas which we placed in the center of the space. Then from this, the different proposed spaces begin to surround. In blue, we can see the built spaces, and in pink, the ceilings that I will explain later. In this same diagram, we can see a staircase that crosses the side that we wanted to call elephant path, which refers to a path formed in space by people to create their own paths and shortcuts, which is the one that is already in the site. Next. Then now we have the diagrams for the ceilings. We wanted to achieve what we wanted to achieve is to create a space that can change according to the needs of the community, the time, and the budget. So we proposed these roofs in which the community can create some movable spaces according to their activities. Next. Then we have the master plan, where we can observe the relationship of the center with the context. And on the left, we have the river and the side of the city. And in the right side, we have an area to get like fruit trees. Next. Then we have the floor plan, when we can see the distribution of the proposed spaces. First, in the center of the site, we have the production area. Then around it, we have the library and computer center and the cafeteria. Then an esplanade with the first roof, where they can make these movable spaces. Then we have a playground, another roof, and some bathrooms and sport court. And in the right side, we have like the trees also to produce. Next. Then we have the sections where we can observe the topography and the levels of the spaces, which were one of our biggest challenges. Next, Marina. And in here we can see also how above the cafeteria we have a terrace and some restrooms in which we can get like all the view of the city. Next.
In this slide, you can find some of our renders. In here, you can appreciate the materials we use. For the walls, we use brick, and for the ceiling, we use steel.
And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. 10 minutes. That's okay. Very good. Giorgio, Agustin, Vicky, do you have any comments, any questions that you want to ask? Okay. Giorgio, it's fine for you?
just a very fast consideration about the vegetable plot in the center. But a circular form that is out of the line and out of the other buildings. So is in the center, but maybe I suggest you to work with another form, and with a vegetable that's connected with the building and with your roof, with your public space, or for example, the resting area for the cafeteria. So the center of your project maybe could be more connected with the building and more connected with the other space. In your project, for my idea, for my opinion, is a form that is a circle, but we cannot connect with other the building all around. And in the center of your project had to be the center. Also for the architectural point of view, for the space, for the connection, for the green area. That is very interesting, your presentation or your analysis about the vegetable. But you need a step more to translate it in your project in a better way, in a better form.
Thank you.
Agustin, Vicky, do you have any comments or any questions?
Just, I find interesting the idea of the volumes that are very close, made out of brick or solid material, and then the second level is very open. It's just a roof, just a canopy, which I don't know, double the use of the building, but at the same time is very open and very connected with the views and with the context. But what I don't know is about the material of these roofs. I don't know what kind of material specifically, but you mentioned metal or something, or steel or something metallic. With the weather in Chihuahua, I can imagine this will be very hot, or you're going to get a lot of high temperatures with the sun that you have in Chihuahua. But in general, I find it interesting. You play with the topography, and then the render, like we see on the top left side, you can see how you see one of the solid buildings in brick, and then almost at the same level one of the open canopies because of the topography. And then you play very well in this, how to connect the views, but at the same time use the double, use the roof also of the solid piece as a terrace, as an open space, as a gathering space where you can have many different type of activities. I like the reference you show, the one in Madrid from Red Bull. I think it's very interesting how you can move it or dismantle. It's like a non-permanent structure, which maybe can last for years, but at the same time has the facility to be moved and place it in another site, another location, which also is interesting. It's not this case here, but I found it interesting as a reference. And I can see these roofs are more or less connected with this idea. So for the rest, I think I like it, and congratulations for the work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Vicky, some comments or? Perfect.
The end, please. When all finished.
At the end?
The end, when all finished. Have finished.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So we can go with the second group. Please, Giorgio, Agustin, if you need some minutes to fill the format for the evaluation, please feel free to tell me.
Yes, I will do it in parallel.
Okay. Maybe we can start to prepare the next presentation, but Agustin and Giorgio, you tell us when you are ready.
Okay.
So now group 3, Ana Sofia, Margarita, Cesar, and Mayra. Just start to prepare the presentation, and then when Agustin and Giorgio say that they are ready, we can start.
Let me see something. Just one question. The second team, what's the name of the? Yeah, the name of the project is Padeno, no? The second one.
Sí. Yes.
Okay. Okay, we can start. Yeah, I can do it in parallel, no problem.
Okay, Giorgio?
Okay.
Perfect. So we can start with the third group. Ten minutes.
Good evening. We're team number 3, conformed by Ana Sofia Valadez, Margarita Reynoso, Mayra Galvan, and me, Cesar Sanchez, and we're going to present our project Spiral.
Well, the site is located in the city of Chihuahua, Chihuahua, in the neighborhood of El Paso del Norte, where the Sacramento River passes nearby. And this community is also about 158 kilometers north of downtown, which is near to the Chih River. To get into context, here we have the 3 main streets where Vialidad Sacramento is the one that communicates the community with the city, and the Nube Street is the one that gives us access to El Paso del Norte. The community also has access to a pedestrian bridge that interacts with the city.
On the left, there are some stairs that were built before the bridge was built, and they are still being used for some people in the community. On the other side is the pedestrian bridge, which is 146 meters long, that can be difficult to climb due to the rise of the stairs. Here we can analyze simple fronts. Almost every building has an approximate height of 240 and 640 meters, which are 1 or 2 levels at most. These are the most used materials in the community. They are economic and easy materials for building. Concrete block, brick, and stone are often used for building up houses. The galvanized sheet for the roof in almost the entire community. The iron and steel are well used for windows and in some cases doors. And we also found that the coating color varies a lot. Almost every house is different.
Since the community doesn't have a defined architectural style yet, we decided to analyze the closest site to the community, and we found 4 main things. The first one is that there's an indifference to the context, from the finish of the buildings like color or materials to the ceilings. Secondly, there are impractical designs. Some buildings obstruct the public spaces or have spaces that can be used. Also, there's a lot of vegetation in the zone, covering most of the street. And last but not least, the security. There are a lot of fences in the fronts or windows denoting the insecurity in the area. We analyzed the distances to the nearest places like schools, grocery stores, parks, and other businesses, and found that there are no real hospitals close. Just a care center, but for more complex health issues, the closest hospital is 4 kilometers away. Also, the quality and quantity of the parks or other spaces are low, having rust, swings, or benches in bad conditions. There are a lot of schools from elementary to universities, like the Tec de Monterrey or the Normal School of Chihuahua State. And there are a lack of businesses in the area, having mostly grocery stores only.
We analyze the community and determine these aspects in the social context. The kids play in the streets all day while their parents work, so they are exposed to violence. They demand a lot of attention, and they have poor education. We also analyze the problem of ecology. The streets are full of trash. The kids do not have the culture of throwing away the things that they finished. And also, when some furniture becomes obsolete, they leave it on the street and garbage accumulates on top. The open areas that should be used for recreation are full of garbage too. Taking into account the problems mentioned, we propose some solutions that are build a safe meeting point for the kids, have a place where kids can have access to books, chess, and board games, promote the value of having education, promote environmental care, and place organic and inorganic waste containers.
The project is located in an uneven terrain. We have about 14 meters in the highest level. So it was designed preserving the natural terrain and taking advantage of it and avoiding unnecessary grading because that can increase the construction costs. And also we seek to preserve the natural drainage patterns with the incorporation of several green areas. This uneven terrain gave us a lot of views because of its greater increase of the terrain, of the level, and so we can appreciate the entire city from every place we step.
Solar radiation, both in summer and winter, will infiltrate more in facades facing west.
Here we have some views of the site. On the top left corner, we have the view from the main street, the Vialidad Sacramento. Then on the top right corner, we have the view from the sidewalk, where the main access to the community is. Below that is the view from the inside of the community. The bottom of the slide have the views from the inside the site. On the left, we have the south view. In the center, we have the west and southwest view, and the north in the right.
We looked for successful projects that had the same elements that we looked for our project, and we found this kindergarten in Guadalajara that has implemented a sensory and dynamic education that makes children see learning in a fun way. When we were analyzing the project, we identified different materials that we would like to implement in our project, like concrete, because of its natural look, and it does not need much maintenance. White paint because of its neutral color, wood because it brings a warmer look, brick because it's a cheap material and it makes a contrast with the other materials, color fence because it's attractive, and the bottle tops. This one is one of the elements that we like the most because it invites the community to participate with the decoration of the site and also invites them to recycle. We also analyzed the spaces that we wanted to incorporate in our project, like the kitchen, the terrace, the outdoor, the classroom, a multi-use room, and a garden.
Our goal with this project is to rethink community. Community has been thought as knowing your neighbors or just living near others. But our idea of community is getting involved with it in all aspects that affect human beings, such as education, entertainment, interaction with others, recreation, and health. So due to that, we thought about putting all these interests together in one common place for everyone in the community. That's why Aespera represents our concept, because we want to promote this interaction in a common center that is unfolding towards the whole site, which creates interactive and friendly circulations. This diagram helps us to understand more about the distinct functions at the place. Firstly, respecting the existing path, and secondly, having two more access directly with the community. At the entrance is the common kitchen that works perfectly as a receiver and is perfect for having snacks or prepare one. In the center is the meeting point that promotes the interaction between people. On the left side is located the playground and court for children to have fun. Then we have 4 rooms at a lower level for developing skills. And in a lower one, it's the cultivation garden that impulses people to get involved with their environment, but also having benefits by grabbing healthy food from the ground. This is how we divide firstly the site by respecting the existing path. Then it was defined the core of the building and the receiver, and also starting to analyze some views. And finally, this is how we zone the areas that were previously mentioned, creating interesting circulations for a walk or even ride a bike, but also adding a green barrier for protection towards the city and the street.
Well, in this diagram, we can appreciate how we use the topography to create volumes for different activities, but at the same time, they can interact between each other. Going through the main axis, we find the first volume seen from the street. This is the cafeteria. And then going some steps down is the biggest and most important volume of the project, the meeting point. It's the most important because it is connected with all the other volumes. Here the kids can play freely and at the same time be safe because it is located in a place with no contact with the streets. And also teens and adults can enjoy this area because there are benches and a cycling path. And also they can watch their children. 2 steps up is located the viewer that is about the volume of the rooms. And next, 1 level down and one on the other side of the path, it is the playground room volume where people can play any sport. And finally, in the green volume, we can find the lowest one, that is the cultivation garden.
Here, the first diagram represents the outdoor space in which it creates a comfortable space that has a great climate for outdoor activities because it creates a semi-exposed space and the wind can flow freely. The second diagram represents how we respected the natural surface of the place by designing a multi-layer project. The third one represents how the windows of the classrooms allow the entrance of the natural light in addition to the light that enters through the door. Those elements help to save electricity.
In the master plan, we can appreciate how the project interacts with the community. Also, how the outdoor space and the green areas predominate in the zone. In the ground floor, we can see the main access from the community on the top that connects with the cafeteria. Then go down to the outdoor, that is the core of the project. From there, you can go to the playground that is on the left, to the bathrooms or other access of the community that is on the right, or go to the cultivation garden and the rooms that are below. Here we have a longitudinal section looking to the north. We can appreciate how the cafeteria is a level higher than the outdoor, and from the outdoor, it goes slowly down the level to the street. Then we have the section C, that is looking to the city. On the left, we have the bathrooms. On the center, we have the main outdoor space, and we can see how by climbing 3 steps, you get a better view to the city. For last, we have the section D that shows from the highest level of the project to the slowest. It starts on the left from the community level, where also is the cafeteria. Then it decreases the level to reach the outdoor space, but raises again 3 steps to have a better view. Then below the viewer, we have the rooms of the project that have a hallway that have also a view to the cultivation garden.
Here we have a complete view of the project from the city to the site. And this is the cafeteria from the Nube Street. And here we can see the cafeteria and its impact with the other areas and its role as a main axis. And here we can see the meeting point from the city. And here from main axis. And also we can see the experience of being inside the meeting point. And here is a view of the rooms and viewer from the garden. And here is a view from the viewer and rooms to the city. Here we have one proposal of interior of the rooms. Here is the playground with the steps that can work as benches too. And finally, the cultivation garden. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, Agustin, Giorgio, if you have any questions or comments for this group, please.
Just a very quick comment. I like the how you place the design or the building in the topography. This idea of the spiral that then is like chopped to allow circulation in an easy way. And I think this is a nice starting point of the design. And the rest I think is very proper and well solved. Generally, it looks very good. But there is one rendering or a couple of images that I didn't understand why it's like fence all around the community center. I mean, when you're talking about community, it's contradictory when you fence and gated and close it. So if you want to connect with the community, the less thing you need is a fence or a wall or a limit. So it has to be open, it has to be connected. Somehow you can limit these borders with vegetation or with other elements, but not with a fence. I mean, this is exactly the opposite of what we want, no? So this is only one comment and it's maybe a graphical thing in the images because it looks really strong, the fence. If you made a fence in a white color or more transparent color, something like that, you shows that it's gated, but it's not so strong. No, it has to be, it's something that is going against your narrative. I mean, so just be careful with this kind of details. When you try to sell a project, try to be consistent on what you show and what you say, you know? And that's it, yeah.
I want to answer that we put that fence because on one side of the project, we have a school. So we need that protection. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, we have other like houses and other terrains. So we need to put that fence
but not
limit
really.
our project.
No, not really. I mean, if you can, well, Emanuele and Giorgio can tell us, in Europe, you can have the sport facilities of the schools without fence, no? And when there is no classrooms or it's not time of the school, people of the neighborhood go and use the sport facilities or use the school patio or school. I mean, this create community, and it's not only for the community center. I think can work in both sides. If in your design you prove or you show me that all these neighbors can be also using this part of the community center, then the project is very successful. I mean, this is exactly the goal or the objective of why we are doing this exercise, no? And not putting a gate, no? So has to be more connected, porous, like the porosity. People can go in and back, and with vegetation, with avoiding non-safe spaces in terms of design, like no corners, no hidden spots, and so. And with a good lighting, I mean, you can have this place open 24 hours, and people can go and play in the night with the family, with the kids. So I don't know. It's just a suggestion. Yeah.
I want to add that we put that fence also in the playground because we don't want the ball that with their playing
okay.
like fall down the street. So we also put that fence with that purpose.
No, in that case it's okay, but I'm just talking about the general concept, no? Yeah.
For me, very good presentation, starting from analysis to the reference and to the diagram, because I think it's very clear, your process. I think that the 17th page is very, very good, well, because with the functional diagram, you explain very well your project. Maybe just the things that I want to say you is about how many meters is the diameter of the circle in the middle point. How many meters? How many meters is the diameter of the circle?
It's around, I think, 30 meters. But
because
the,
because from your render, I think render 31 render page. I try to put some or more function in the middle of the circle because maybe it's avoided too big space, just space things, because the other things is very well, it's very, very interesting. Yeah.
Yes, we thought about this big space because we usually, well, we went to that community for playing with the kids, with Virginia. And so we thought that we need like a big space for running and for having fun, for dancing out there. So we thought about this big space in the center.
Yeah. Maybe some, I don't know, maybe if you need some plants, some vegetables, something to not, because maybe it's too voids, too big for the space. Yes, I know, for play, because for your project this is a meeting point. But for meeting point you have to put some function in the circle, something to attract the people. Just speak.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So we can go with the fourth group, Jimena, Mariana, and Jacqueline.
Yes.
Okay. Again, Agustin and Giorgio, tell us when you are ready to.
I'm ready.
Perfect.
Yeah, me too. I'm ready.
Perfect. So 10 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Allow me to begin introducing myself. My name is Mariana Rodriguez, and my colleagues are Jimena Arreola and Jacqueline Nevares. We are all in our 5th semester of architecture school, and we're here today to present you our project for the recreational center located in the community here in Chihuahua.
Paso del Norte is a community located on the outskirts of the city of Chihuahua, right below the mountain range that limits the city naturally. Between it and the community lies the Sacramento River, which acts as a natural border between them. Due to this and its poverty-related issues, the people living in Paso del Norte suffer from poor quality of life conditions and social disintegration, making it a very vulnerable community. The project for it consists of a center either recreational or educational, which provides a safe, entertaining, and healthy environment for children. This is the map, and right here it demonstrates how the community seems to be detached from its own city.
So allow us to give you a quick insight or brief on what we think are the key elements into the development of our project. It relies mostly on one main road, which is Nube Street right here. This is the only paved one, and it's the only entry into the community. They also have this pedestrian bridge over here, which serves right here, which serves as a secondary entrance, but only for a pedestrian. The community, however, over the years, the people have been making this path right here, which stands on the site that we are developing our project on, because they find it too hard to climb up the whole set of stairs up to the pedestrian bridge. The yellow area right here is the school, the local school. This purple here is the local church, and the green areas right here are the parks. The parks, there's a pretty big lack of shade, and the high temperatures of Chihuahua make it impossible to endure the heat and for children to play outside and to ride their bikes. We can also identify here the Sacramento River and Vialidad Sacramento, which, as my colleagues have mentioned before, it separates the city from the community. So these are all very important elements to considering the context. Right here, we have the images, the two images above show the view from the city. Standing on site, a view which the project is able to really benefit from, and these two below show the view towards the mountain range. The view towards the city is completely parallel to the one towards the mountain range. Most houses in the community are self-built. Some are well-maintained, but others seem to be in a bad state, meaning inhabitants may live under very hard conditions due to the lack of architectural planning, design, color. Houses vary in color, size, and style. Most are 1 story high. People work on them, expand them, and try to improve their homes as they go along.
As we have already mentioned, the community is vulnerable to poor quality of life conditions. The socioeconomic level of the Paso del Norte community is very low. People here have limited job opportunities, meaning that the jobs that they do have are poor quality jobs. The pay is not good enough, which can only lead to low-income households and poor quality healthcare and services. Aside from this, there's the fact that parents must travel long distances to get to work, leaving their children unsupervised all day. And of course, they have the liberty to educate themselves in whichever way please them. So it's expected for them to develop unhealthy habits and relationships because of the lack of responsibilities and safe environment. As for education, unfortunately, low-income families are not able to afford a good quality of education for their children. Now to all this add up the fact that they have a microenvironmental crisis going on over there. The land is greatly contaminated due to a very poor handling of garbage service and because of the lack of awareness of the community. These pictures, which clearly show the severity of the problem, were taken not really far from the project's location.
This is a polygon in which the project develops. The site is located on the main road and over a small piece of wasteland that runs downhill if seen from it. Then, the next slide, here is the elevation detail of the terrain, which shows how steep it is. Next, we have the wind and solar analysis. The project is somehow vulnerable to these conditions because of the exposure the hill gives to it. Estás muteada, Jimmy.
Yes, I clicked on it, but our project focuses on providing solutions and improvements to these conditions. It is meant to serve as a facility for children to have a space to be in during the day, time in which they are free to run around the community. It is meant to give educational and health support for them too, and it also functions as a growing sustainable environment to educate the people of the community on the matter. For the development of our project, we focused on these 4 aspects here. It must serve as a space for children to be in. There goes functionality. Then we took a good look towards the mountain range and linked it to the identity of the community, so it inspired the form of the building. As for the intervention of this place, what the intervention of this place is meant to do is to serve the children, of course. So the kids really like to ride their bikes around. So why not extend their possibilities? Our intention is to provide them a well-designed space for them to do this. And if the most important matter here is to improve their quality of life, what better way to do than that with the application of sustainable principles towards awareness and education. So the project started off as 1 volume. Then it became 2 separate ones to provide a space for educational use and another for recreational and cultural activities. The main building was drawn up for it to allow for a stadium-like auditorium to be put in place and for it to widen the view towards the city, like creating a framing of a picture. These 2 buildings were then rotated for them to run parallel with the polygon's limits and to create a circulation between them that widens as it goes and opens up the view. The slopes surrounding the site inspired the peaks created with the walls of the buildings. The pathway here is, as we've already mentioned, is self-made by the community, and they use it pretty much every day of their lives. So we intend to respect it, not only to respect it, but to improve it too. The complex has 2 main levels, which is street level and the one where both buildings come to an end. And these 2 main levels, we think, are the ones that may provide this green area, a skate park, the area where kids may ride their bikes all day long for, I don't know, runners, the people who exercise, or just the gathering of the community.
Okay, with that said, this is the project's main plan, in which we are able to identify the space designated for the outdoor activities such as bike riding. This plan now shows the 2 buildings that make up the space for recreational and educational activities. The one on the left side is a stadium-like auditorium that has its main access in the top floor and descends with the natural slope of the terrain. The level at which the stairs land is a multi-purpose space for allowing of grand lessons, talks, speeches, visits to take place and for all to gather around. The building on the right is 1 floor only and serves as a classroom and provides the space needed for restrooms. This building roof is actually a terrace that connects the two main levels of the complex, as you may see here. Both buildings open up to the main area, the outdoors where children and young adults are able to ride their bikes, hang out, exhibit self-made art, exercise themselves. This is a multi-use space. Is designed for them to have a space for their own that they feel like a part of. And this gray area is a skate park. As you may see, a small field is also provided in the roof terrace, and this small area next to the classrooms are both meant to permit the cultivation of vegetable plants.
This first section runs along the slope of the terrain. It shows how the auditorium is formed and how the outdoor area tries to go along with the slope too. Then in this second section, it's shown both buildings. It allows us to identify the main entrance, which is located at the street level, and how it brings you almost forcefully to where all the activities gather to create a space full of diversity.
This right here is our main entrance at street level. This one oversees the main road. This right here could be said to be the back of the building, but this facade is the one overlooking the city. So it allows all of these this sites or this places, these areas for a long circulation, a running circulation. As you may see here, the roof terrace allows for the street level, the ground level, to come to all of these levels right here, in which vegetation happens, ramps happen, stairs happen, the field, this court happens, and the skate park happens too. These right here are the two main buildings. As you may see, one is higher than the other because of the stadium-like form. And this one to your right is the classroom and the restrooms. This right here is the auditorium, sorry. As you may see, this is the main entrance, and it brings you towards the main area of the whole community center. This right here is the classroom. And if that would be all for our presentation, if you have any questions, we'd be pleased to answer them. Thank you.
I want to start again quickly. In general, I find it very interesting, very nice, and very consistent narrative with the graphics you were showing, like the diagrams, and then the images, and then all these renderings. I like it a lot. I think it's a very nice project. In my opinion, it's too much concrete, but still it's a very nice way how you terrace. I will use concrete only when it's absolutely necessary, and the rest I will try to work with landscape, with more like I don't know, low maintenance or just vegetation from the region that you don't have to do anything for maintenance. But in general, I like it a lot. The geometry of the buildings are very nice. How they are, the dialogue between the volumes are really nice too. The scale, etc. Congratulations! It's a very nice project.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes, I agree with Agustin about the terrace, because I think that you can work with more vegetables, more green, because the green help you to manage this space in a better way, and also to have a sort of hierarchy about your path, about the main path or the main path that go inside your building, as a core about the surrounding, as a core about the surrounding. So two things. The main, you have to have a main path and the other path and go to the center of your area, and be careful about the facade because maybe it's too glassy and the opposite of too concrete outside, and to manage this glass in a better design, just for this image, for this render, for example, because it seems that you work with a structure and the door and the other things going in another direction about the structure and about the design of the facade.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So we can go with the next group, Luis, Valeria, Estefania, and Avril. Please, when you're ready, you can start sharing the screen, and then Giorgio and Agustin, you tell us when you're ready to. Agustin is ready. Giorgio, it's fine for you?
Fine.
Okay. Okay, so 10 minutes.
Okay, good afternoon. We're going to present you the project CANAT. We are Valeria Hernandez, Avril Jauregui, Luis Lucero, and Stefania Caballero. Our project is located in Chihuahua, Chihuahua, in the colony of Paso del Norte. In this state, the most common vegetation are the oak, walnut, and sunflowers. We use some common trees and flowers that grow here. First of all, we have the topography, in which we have the highest and the lowest level with a difference of 14 meters. In the ground, the wind comes mainly from the east, and we look for the orientation of the sun that help us to design the roof and the windows that are in our building. Some of the relevant areas are near the ground are the kindergarten, the church, house of the church, and baseball field. The main use pedestrian route goes through the site, and here we have a simple map that can show us how these areas can be related with the ground. From the ground, we can see the horizon of the city, and from the other side, we are able to see the kindergarten. With the facades, we can see how the zone is. Most of them are not that decorated. The height is relatively low, and we try to design a building that is different and innovative for the community, and change a little bit the idea of construction that is in the zone. We also try to follow the height that is in the adjoining facades in our building. In this way, our building is not going to be an extreme change for the community. Around 1,791 people live in the zone, and one of them of every 3 people is less than 15 years old.
The social problems that we found in the community are pollution and trash. The children doesn't have a daycare. They have gastrointestinal diseases from contaminated water and bad smell in the area. As a solution from the trash, there is a campaign that promotes environmental education in schools by installing recycle bins, implementing it in the younger generations for the bad smell, and can be putting a recycle center so the trash won't be in the streets. For the children that doesn't have a daycare, it has been implemented as social service in which some students voluntary to take care of these kids and their parents won't be worried about them. For the contaminated water, there is a project that allows the people to have a clean water near their homes. Our project is based on the coexistence, unity, security, nature, comfortability. Our slogan is, "With community comes unity." We consider a community center from Guatemala, which helped us to design an enrichment room and multifunctional field for young people. We also implemented an ecological orchard for the community in which the community can cultivate their own vegetables.
We made some sketches that help us to create the main idea of the building and have a concrete idea about the roof. We maintain the pedestrian route and make it pass through the main open common area. Here we can see how the spaces are related with each other. In the public garden is a space where the people that attend the community center can hang out and enjoy the nature. In the orchard, people will learn more about how to take care of the plants and they will be able to produce their own food. The coexistence space is a room where people can hang out in the interior of the building. The workshops rooms are 4 areas where there can be held different activities. They adapt to the requirements of the activity. The reading room is a space designated to read or to rest. People have access to different types of books so they can choose their favorite. The warehouse is a space where the things that are not being used are stored. The sport field is a court suitable for different sports where people can enjoy playing what they prefer. Also, we have a playground where kids can go to play in the different playing equipment while their parents supervise them. The conference room is adequate for different types of conference, and also we have 2 bathrooms where only the people that attend the center can have access. In the 3D scheme concept, we start designing with 1 volume. Then we divide it into different volumes. We gave a circular shape to one of the volumes and we transformed the other shape into a triangle. And finally, we introduced more the circle into the triangle to simulate it is protecting it. This is a master plan when we can see the relation between the site and the context. And here are the location of the main areas in the grant and the relation between them.
Here is the distribution of the spaces and the proposed furniture. We have a main common area that it can be closed depending on the weather, or it can get open to communicate with the main open area that it's the circle one. We decide to put the workshops on the edges of the building to help the parents to take care of their children and see them while they are in the open area. The library is near the common area, but it's isolated from the outside to maintain a peaceful place to read. Two other workshops are in the middle of the building next to the conference room, and having at the end of the building the bathrooms and the warehouse. In the longitudinal section, we can see the different areas, and we see the two different levels and the inclination that has the roof. Here we can appreciate the difference of the levels in all the ground, and you can see the open area that is where the people are coexisting. Here is a render of how the building will be seen in the colony. This is a look from the soccer field that we're gonna have to the building. There are some different levels in the ground. And here we can appreciate more the common area that we have with all the tables and having like an open, well, a more open area at the middle of the circle. This is a playground and it's next to the building to be able to watch the kids playing while their parents are inside of the building. The orchard has multiple places to cultivate different plants, and it is at the lower level of the site. And here we can see the common area that's inside of the building and how to go into the different spaces. And finally, we made a short video of how these places will be seen. And that will be all from us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Agustin, Giorgio. Any comments, considerations?
I think it's good the landscape project. In this case, we have a terrace that works with the G tables and work well with the green. I have just not a question, but in your project it looks like more height with difference about the two or more the two level. But maybe maybe is sort of just a mistake. And maybe you have to work more about the building, because yes, there is a connection. There is the space the outside space, but it's not clear how you can manage the interior of the building. You can manage the function inside and some other things about the building, but about the landscape, about the project of the outdoor is quite good.
Thank you, Giorgio.
I agree with the scale of the project. What I like of this project a lot. There are 2-3 points that I wanna talk about. One is like the first impression on this project when you are in different spaces is like the main protagonist of the full picture is the green area, which I like it a lot because it's really connected with the site. In this case, I like it. The scale is also very human. And also what I like is like the main space is not like pretending to be a monumental and a big space, and it's still kind of a small, clear, circular main space, but at the same time it's kind of a fragmented in several pocket areas, like this small park or this small split, and all in different, the small football court, soccer court, I like it a lot. So it seems like very human scale. It's not a domestic scale, like something at the garden of a house. It's still looking like something different, but at the same time, it's not like pretending to be a very big grand space, which I like it in terms of a community center because it's more connected with the scale of the surroundings and the neighbors. So I think it's a nice project in general. I like it a lot, and the graphics are very nice, especially the images are really nice. The renderings, you did a good job. In the 3D scheme, when you start like shaping the form, somehow it's a bit arbitrary, the decision of how you push and create a circular and then a triangle and then you push, and at the end, I think was one diagram missing, like the result of all this exercise, how make the project better in terms of view and orientation and circulation and something like that. Because it's only formal. When you show like we make a triangle, we make a circle, but why circle, why triangle has to do with the view, has to do with the sun energy, or with the circulation or with something else. So maybe one more diagram just to show all these modifications of the shape, how make the project works much better. No? That's it. That's a recommendation. And the rest, I like it a lot. No, congratulations, nice project.
Another thing is the music about in the video.
Exactly, it's
We
missing.
need it. We need it.
Yes.
Very good. So for tomorrow, they have to make again the drawings and the video, right? Okay, perfect.
And the music on the video.
Yes. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So now we can go with the last group: Mariana, Omar, Sofia, and Melanie, right? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Just wait a moment for Giorgio and Agustini if they are ready, so we can start. If not, just wait until they are ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. Giorgio, 2. Okay, perfect. So we can start. 10 minutes.
Okay, so hello, good afternoon. The name of our project is Contrahuella. We will later see why we chose this name, but basically it's based on how the inclination of the terrain and how our project is displayed. Community centers are designed for carrying out cultural, educational, social, and sports activities. For our project, we wanted to give priority to these spaces distributed in several buildings around the land. Some of the keywords are community, education, accessibility, security, belonging, inclusion, life quality, and coexistence.
We wanted to focus on 6 principal problematics and 6 principal solutions for each problematic. The first one is lack of services. The use of renewable energy, install water captation devices, cisterns, and wells. Create a crop garden and sustainable chicken coop in the community so that if a market is very far away, you can go walk a little bit and you have everything. The next problematic is no access for disabled people. We adapted with ramps and railings along the paths so that it's easier for people to have access. Lack of recreative spaces, provide open and flexible spaces for multiple activities. It's an insecure area. Being a multi-use complex and being open to the public while offering all kinds of services, this allows it will be watched all day. Limited access to education, multi-use complex where certain areas can be classrooms and daycares. And last but not least, the housing shortage, include enough living quarters and apply co-housing. Here are some inspirational cases that we looked at. First is the Wairs. It's a school in Africa, in Ulyankulu, Tanzania. We saw inspiration in this project because the buildings are around in a semicircle to accentuate and send the center of the land. The designing team is Iwo Borkowitz and Adam Saikowicz from GU Studio and Lucas Rawaki from RH Plus Studio. Another one, it's the Lanka Learning Center. It's in Sri Lanka and it was built in 2016. We found inspiration in this project because of the open spaces, the relation with the surroundings, the use of earth-tone materials to blend with the surroundings, and also because the buildings are arranged around focusing on the center. It's 710 meters square, and it was built by Fit Collective Architects. The project, the neighborhood del Paso del Norte, it's 39.68 kilometers south from the geographical center of the state of Chihuahua and 1.38 kilometers north from downtown Chihuahua. The project specifications, first of all, the location is in Paso del Norte, Chihuahua, Chihuahua. Second of all, the land is 4,000 meters square. The surroundings, we can find stores, pharmacies, parks, schools, factories, and churches. And the ground floor, we have a maximum slope of 61.3% and an average slope of 1.3%. Here we show the diagram of the analysis of the sun and the winds. The cold winds come from the north and the warm winds come from the southwest. And here is the form the sun covers the project.
Okay, so one of our more important subjects was sustainability. So that's why we decided to add a permaculture garden, which it can be defined as the growth of self-sustaining agricultural ecosystems by taking nature into account, creating synergetic farming systems, considering the environmental conditions, and use them for our crops' advantage and ours. So basically the considerations for this are, for the plants that we're gonna put in our permaculture garden are diversity, resilience, natural productivity, sustainability, and maintenance. Here are some of the plants that we chose. We chose oranges, tomatoes, chilies, spinach, potatoes, squash, watermelon, apple, corn, carrots. And basically we chose these plants because they need little to no maintenance. They need little water to medium moderate water, and can grow naturally on the land. And we also added to our projects a chicken coop and a goat corral. The benefit of the goat corral is that we have a dairy supply. We can have cheese or milk from the goats. Also, it provides manure for the compost, so we can use it in our permaculture garden. Goats eat the weeds, so we have a weed control, and are great to start new crops because goats clear the land first, and then we can plant the plants in. And also they can eat the food scraps. So basically, if in the cafeteria there are some food scraps, the goats can eat it, and we're producing little to no waste by this. And with the chicken coop, we have an egg supply, and we have egg supplies for the eggshells for the compost. Also, chickens eat the bugs, so we have a pest bug control. Also, chickens provide heat source for the greenhouse, and they can also eat vegetables for the scraps, which create no waste. And by having animals, we are providing a great way, a great opportunity to learn in the community. Not only does it teach animal care and handling, but important values and lessons, providing therapeutic activity for the community. So basically, because it's a traveled area, we think with animals, it could be a great way to provide like a therapeutic activity, and also it brings the community together. And also we generate jobs, which you'll see why we do this.
So
This
our
is
our project was born out of a desire to respect the land, the hill and the inclination of the hill, and obviously the people, the inhabitants of the community. After a study of the topography and a path already used by the people of the community, we created our main communicating path up the mountain. We decided to locate the volumes at the top of the hill to create accessibility from the street, since most of the inhabitants will access the community center walking or by bikes. So to create an awe and a respect of nature in the user, we face the volumes in, creating an angle and drawing the eye to the city below. And it's a frame for the mountains around the area. The volume on the left was placed there to maximize the use of the even terrain and keep it open to the community on the south. And the volume on the right, we decided to place it following the path where pedestrians would be walking to cause the feeling of openness and security, since it would be a place commonly used. We then divided it into 3 volumes to follow the slope, respecting the hill and integrating the building into the natural view of the hill. Next, please. So here we can observe the development of the basic volumes into the plan. We placed the court as close to the building as possible, since it would have main importance to the children, and this space can also be turned into a marketplace to trade produce from the permaculture garden, or even to host events of sorts. And then we also placed the seating facing the view of the city and also following the slope of the hill. Then below, we section the terrain of the hill, creating different levels of parks and our permaculture garden. The building to the south is where we decided to locate the area for the chicken coop and the goats, in part because of the smell of chicken and goats isn't the most pleasant to have very close to where all the users are going to be. And then we also thought it was important to locate it close to the permaculture garden because we also have a greenhouse in that area, and the warmth from the greenhouse and the warmth from the animals will help in the extreme winters that Chihuahua can experience. And then to the north, we placed a parking lot for people coming to visit, and we thought it would be an ideal place to put an elevator, even though we know that it would be in a later development of the project. But we thought this would be important to make the project more accessible, so people with a disability can access their through their car and reach the main area by the elevator. Next. So then here on the first level, we placed the classrooms, since we considered this the most important area for the kids, and this is how we can adapt it to the needs of the users. So the classrooms can be used however the teachers or the students wish, and then the bathrooms are located on this level and are easily accessible to the whole community center. The next level down can be accessed by stairs or by a ramp. And here we located the cafeteria, a kitchen, and a place to store the produce. So we thought it was important to have a cold room, since a big part of this community center is gardening. They need a place to be able to keep their produce after they harvest it. And then we created a small reception area that can be used as an information center, and then storage for gardening tools or for even athletic tools. And then next we come to the living area. A problem in the community is that there are inhabitants there who find themselves in the situation of homelessness, and they live with their family members. And this can create problems, and a lot of families can be living in very tight and confined situations. So we thought a proposal for this community center and a solution to this would be to create a temporary living place for men and women where they can live there for a while, as long as they need, while they look for a new place, and then it can also be used for people taking care of the grounds. So this place counts with a common area where there's a dining area, a living room, and a kitchen. Then there's 2 separate bedrooms, one for men and one for women, a common bathroom, and a wash center where they can wash their clothes. And then outside there is an area for them to hang their clothes to dry. This area is also important that it's close to the parking lot in case if the inhabitants have a vehicle.
So here we can see by colors each of the areas and its classifications. We can see in red we have these areas that can be used as classrooms or different kind of uses depending on whatever the activities are. In blue we have the living quarters. In yellow, the recreational for sports, the basketball court that also can be used as a stadium or as a theater. Here in purple, we have the playground, and in green, we have the garden and the permaculture garden with the greenhouse and the animal corrals. Then we have these sections. In this section, we can see all of the 3 different levels. In the first, the classrooms, the cafeteria, and the kitchen, and the living space. And in this one, we can see the first building in the first level, and the basketball court. This is a different section. Here we can see how the steps where people can sit and watch the sports game or any kind of activities like theater or any recreational. Here, the steps of the garden is from another view. And then here, we have the renders. We can see what we intended to do is follow this curvature that the street had and continuing it on our project. This to invite people to come inside. Well, we put these two buildings here and then this tree in the middle to create this kind of a passage. So if you're on the street, you don't really see the other side of the project or of the buildings, and you don't see the city. So once you cross this space, this passage, then you get all this view. You get your view amplifies, so you can see the court or theater place, the stairs, the steps, the garden, the different levels of the project, and also the views from the city. This is another render from the basketball court. Here we can see the different uses that you could have. Also maintaining the accessibility, containing these ramps for people that need them. Here's a render from the master plan, the whole project, the garden, the steps, and the parking lot, and inside one of the classrooms. So now that you saw the project and the levels that it's set on, then now you can understand why we chose to name it Contrahuella, that in English means stairrise. That we did this to respect and follow how the terrain was already laid, and we didn't have to do anything or destroy any of the nature in it. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agustin, Giorgio, any comments, questions?
I appreciate the entrance of from starting from the top, and the system of the stairs that is connected with the building. Maybe a critical point, the facade in the lower part, because I think it's too high, it's too strong. I don't know if we can see in the render, the general render, you can see that the building, the height of building from starting from the lower part. Very good the path and the system of stay with the space that you drawing, you design about the middle of the space. Be careful at the buildings, because the same shape, maybe it's the same shape of these three buildings in the stair, as could be not a mistake, but you have to put with building with the different of the section, the different level that you can see in the section. So if it's worked very well in the lower part, in the upper part, not so very well with the surrounding, with the context, with the project in the lower part. So this is the one point about your project.
Thank you, Giorgio.
Okay, I just some general comments. How the volumes, the buildings are placed on the site, I think is okay. The way they open up and generate this central square or central plaza. Also, the same comment as previous teams. We need more green here. This space. With the heat and the sun from Chihuahua, it doesn't invite you to be there and play, no? You need a lot of greenery, a lot of shade in the area. And also another comment that I saw is like in part of your program, you have a kind of a shelter or residence for people for limited time or something like that you mentioned. And what I see is kind of an unit, kind of an apartment unit with 2 bedrooms and shared bathroom and so, which in my opinion and experience, I worked in previous projects with shelters and migrants and so, it's like you cannot have in the same unit men and woman. It has to be totally separated with the bathrooms and everything separated. And I don't know how this is going to work if it's connected with NGO or something that works in pro of the, I don't know, homeless or migrants, or for who is oriented this unit. Because in this case, the shelters are big enough to be that they can be supported by this initiative and this institution. But if there's only 1 or 2 units, I don't know if it is going to work, honestly. So, but in general, the scale is very nice. I think this central part should be a big garden with a small sport facility, but not a professional basketball court. You don't need that. You need a small piece just to play around and so. But in general, I like it. I like the materiality, and I think it was good, the narrative how you describe the project. Yeah, thank you.
Part of why we didn't separate it was because since it wasn't necessarily an initial requirement for the project,
okay,
we didn't want to make it too big.
Yeah, okay. I mean, normally, normally these kind of places, I don't know if you plan to have competitions of sports competitions, things like that, then makes sense. Otherwise, it's more like a recreative and just to spend time there and playing with small groups of people and so. But if it's a requirement, it's fine. So, but this platform can be much nicer if you have partially green area, and where you have the worst sun in the afternoon, you plant some trees there so it provokes shade where you sit around, something like that. Can be nicer. It can be not so aggressive, no, not so hard. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we arrive at the end because all the groups already presented. Now I don't know if Virginia, you want to say something to comment on the project.
¿Hablar en español?
Sure.
Soy la cliente.
Agustina, Mexicano, is Mexican, and Giorgio speaks Italian, French, Spanish, German.
Okay.
Also a little bit of Chinese.
Thank you. Wow. Bueno, felicidades a todos porque llegaron a este momento, ¿verdad? Terminaron sus proyectos. Agradezco pues el esfuerzo que han puesto en ellos, aunque ustedes tienen sus propias recompensas en la materia, ¿verdad? Yo tengo la convicción de que uno de estos proyectos o la combinación de algunos de estos proyectos se van a convertir en realidad no pronto, pero en un mediano plazo tal vez sí. Mientras veía sus imágenes donde ya se distingue claramente cómo quedarían los espacios, pensaba en que la gente, en este caso la gente de Paso del Norte, pero la gente, las personas merecen espacios como estos. Y creo que Chihuahua, la ciudad de Chihuahua, carece de espacios pensados en las personas. Ahorita que escuchaba las recomendaciones de los evaluadores, consideraba lo importante que son para los diseñadores, sobre todo para los arquitectos, el entender el medio en el que se está construyendo. En Chihuahua, la principal necesidad tiene que ver con el clima. Entonces, necesitamos espacios soleados. No, soleados no, sombreados. O sea, espacios donde podamos tener un poco de descanso ante el sol que nos agobia la mayor parte del año, incluso en el invierno. Ahorita tenemos madrugadas muy frías, pero a mediodía el sol quema y el sol agobia a la gente, ¿no? Entonces, este proyecto, una de sus principales características debe ser esa, que acoja a la comunidad y le proporcione un espacio de descanso, con todo lo que ustedes han incluido ya, que es la integración social, un lugar seguro para los niños, un lugar que propicie la convivencia, entre otras muchas cosas. Todos los proyectos que vi, los 6 proyectos tienen elementos muy interesantes y muy valiosos. Yo definitivamente siempre voy a estar más a favor de los espacios más verdes, entre más verde mejor, y en donde el cemento no tenga protagonismo, ¿no? Me encantó que pensaron en el gusto de los niños, ¿no? Que a pesar de que viven en un espacio hostil para la bicicleta y que se la pasan la mayor parte del tiempo desponchando sus llantas, aman andar en bicicleta, andar en patines, andar en patinetas y todo lo que esto implica y lo difícil que es en el medio en el que están. Muchos de estos proyectos están pensados especialmente para esto, ¿no? Me parece que la mayoría de ellos me podría permitir la construcción en etapas, ¿no? O sea, tener una primera área sin necesidad de pensar en toda la construcción en un solo tiempo por de los recursos y de dónde vayan a llegar, ¿no? Incluso proyectos que podrían muy bien trabajarse los espacios abiertos y los espacios verdes, mientras que se pueden ir construyendo las opciones de edificios que van presentando o de niveles que han estado ustedes presentando. Sí, definitivamente a la hora de elegir voy a necesitar ayuda. Me encantaría que la gente de Paso del Norte pudiera ver de una manera más sencilla, obviamente, estas propuestas y que ellos pudieran opinar sobre lo que más les gustaría tener, ¿no? Pero creo que esto lo vamos a poder ver materializado un día de esto, ¿no? Y deseo que ustedes que han sido protagonistas en estas ideas que están proponiendo, pues estén presentes ahí el día que suceda. También creo que este proyecto, una vez materializado, puede detonar proyectos similares en la ciudad. O sea, yo realmente creo que soy ambiciosa en ese sentido y me imagino proyectos similares en diferentes áreas, zonas de la ciudad que tienen características iguales y problemas similares a los que tiene Paso del Norte y con poblaciones mucho más populosas que Paso del Norte, ¿no? Paso del Norte tiene la ventaja de que son pocos y es muy difícil que se multiplique la población por el mismo medio que es tan agreste para la construcción de sus viviendas. Un edificio, un espacio bonito, armonioso, limpio, definitivamente sería una influencia positiva para las relaciones entre las personas y para lo que ellos aspiran para sus propias viviendas. Un espacio como estos que ustedes están proponiendo ayudaría a que la gente realmente se animara a quitar la basura de las aceras de sus casas, ¿no? el tilichero que van acumulando en sus puertas y la basura que tiran indistintamente por la calle, ya sea la pavimentada o no la pavimentada. Entonces, por eso me parece que es un proyecto muy valioso y yo agradezco pues todo el talento que han puesto en ellos, los aprendizajes. Felicito a Emanuele por el trabajo que ha hecho en ustedes, ¿verdad? Por lo que ha logrado enseñarles. Me parece que a pesar de que están en un semestre no de los avanzados, ¿no? En cuarto o quinto, no sé exactamente en dónde están, creo que van a poder llevar estos proyectos a niveles mucho más grandes. Hay algunos que se adaptarían muy bien a otras ciudades, a otros climas, algunos que en su estética se acomodarían a espacios que no son propiamente Paso del Norte, pero que tienen mucho valor. Entonces, claro que desde el punto de vista técnico, pues no puedo decirles nada. Para eso ya lo hicieron sus arquitectos aquí, sus asesores y demás. Pero desde el punto de vista funcional, desde el aprovechamiento del espacio, el hacerlos sustentables, que sean lo más económico posible, o sea, que los materiales en los que se puedan construir no solamente sean duraderos, sino que también sean accesibles para la comunidad. Chihuahua tenemos el enorme error de que todo está construido en materiales muy poco amigables, ¿verdad? Con nuestro clima, esos blocks, ese cemento por todos lados. Entonces, pues muchas gracias y felicidades, y ya después veré con Emanuele pues cómo funcionan los detalles de esto, ¿no? De qué voy a poder tener yo, en qué condiciones de cuestiones de derecho de propiedad, ¿cómo se dice? De reconocimiento de derechos de autor, no sé, todo eso que tiene que ver con los permisos que el TEC de Monterrey da en estos casos de proyectos hechos por estudiantes, pero para poderse llevar a la práctica, ¿no? Y pues muchas gracias a todos. Ya se despidió el arquitecto Solórzano y yo ya no les quito más tiempo.
No, gracias a todos. Es que voy corriendo a otra revisión del Campus Querétaro.
Me imagino.
Y les agradezco mucho a todos. Felicidades por su trabajo y pues bueno, empujen para que su proyecto se lleve a cabo. Lo ideal es que hibridicen. Hay muchos puntos buenos de varios proyectos. Ya llegarán a un punto en el que todos tienen una participación y es algo muy padre, increíble. Y bueno, pues agradezco muchísimo a Emanuele por habernos invitado, por haber pues, tenido la confianza en invitarnos a hablar y criticar proyectos. And I want to thank you, Giorgio. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you soon in another reviews. So we have you now in the radar, so we want to invite you to another groups from different campus from TEC de Monterrey. So thank you very much for the time, and see you around.
Thank you, Agustín. Thank you very much. See you. Gracias, Virginia, por las palabras, y así ahora lo vamos a ver bien esto de los derechos de autor, ¿no? Porque algo también que ha poquito un comercial, pero en enero vamos a hacer un workshop también en la colonia, ¿no? Por si están interesados en participar y para llevar ideas, ¿no? Y estos pueden ser como proyectos para partir y para reflexionar, ¿no? Entonces, muchísimas gracias a todos y muchas gracias a Giorgio. I hope Giorgio can come here in Chihuahua soon, so to visit the community and to visit all Chihuahua. We go to the Sierra, and I hope you can come here soon. Thank you again. It's midnight in Italy, so thank you a lot for your time, and thank you to everybody. See you soon.
Bye bye.
Gracias, profe.
Gracias, profe.
Gracias.
Bye, muchísimas gracias.
Gracias a usted.